Yep. So hi, everybody at home. We're recording fourth hour today, talking about the 40 studies that is due. So if everybody can have that done by tomorrow when you guys come into class, and for anybody that didn't have a chance to finish it because I changed it very late, do that on Friday and have that turned in for you guys for today. Other than that, just wondering if anybody has any questions about yesterday's discussion. We went over the purple frustration aggression principle, social scripts. We were talking about aggression. I showed them Malice at the Palace. It was an example of how aggressiveness took place between not only the athletes but the fans in kind of an unprecedented way. In addition, we talked about how conflict definitely can have impactful decision-making processes for all of us. Anybody have any questions about any of that stuff? Okay, just so you know, this board, this crazy mess maybe for some of you, it doesn't stay like this. I do not do this for every unit. I try to give you different strategies each unit. Last unit, I gave you the vocabulary chart that I just required everybody to do. You'll notice, obviously, you're not doing that anymore. For some of you, you might have found that helpful. I've already had students ask, can I do a vocabulary chart for this unit? You certainly can. You don't get credit for anything. It's just something that might be beneficial for yourself. This little strategy I kind of adapted for myself and wanted to pass it on to anybody. It's helpful for me when I'm actually even teaching or learning something that I can categorize things. That's why I put the learning targets next to it. In addition, I'm a very visual person, so I like to color code. And then I know these words are all together. We're all talking about the same type of thing. We're talking about persuasion when I talk about those particular words. I will not be doing this in the future. So if you find this type of note-taking very beneficial, I would just suggest you do that in the future as we go through our upcoming chapters. So our goal for today is to get through attraction as well as get through the very last one, which would be helping. So if you read about Kitty Genovese today, I would like to kind of just lean on some of your ideas and what you thought about that. And we'll wrap it up, and then Friday is your free response. And I'll give you your numbers when you guys come into class on Friday. So let us begin. I would like to begin today. Brian, if you don't mind just sitting right over there by Courtney. You've each been paired directly across from someone. You're going to do a little speed friendship here. I'm arming you with some prompts. Could you take a second to look at these prompts? There are 3 sets, and they all have different prompt questions. So just gander at them. Don't do anything more. But if something stands out to you, kind of note that in your brain about some of these prompts. Look on the front, look on the back. Again, you don't need to read every single one of them. Just kind of a quick glance at what they have to say. All right. So you guys are going to have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. There is so much there to talk about. You need 55 days to talk about all of that stuff. You're going to have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Nick's going to ask Anne a question, and Nick is going to answer the same question. So whatever he asks Anne, he's also going to answer it. And then after you guys are done with that question, Anne will then fire a question back at him and do the same exact thing. I'll tell you when 2 minutes and 30 seconds are up. Anybody have any questions? Not writing anything down. Here we go. Speed friends. Go.
What can constitute a perfect day?
If you were to die for, something revolutionary, cool.
I'd probably be cool to do the fantasy music. I play a bit of What is your greatest accomplishment? Making a beast problem.
If you were able to either design it for a 30-year-old or last, mind or body? I guess I would pick mind. I mean, body would also be hard too. I don't know. I think I would pick mind because then at least I would like Alzheimer's and stuff. I know like that it's hard to deal with and like dementia and all that stuff. But body's so hard too because like when you get old and high, control it. I don't want to think of it. What would you think?
I would be like different.
What do you have in most themselves and like how well we connect. So like parents are like we come each other's eyes, but like we read each other's minds pretty much. Like we'll say things at the exact same time. Like so when you're out participating every day, you're saving your loved ones in defense. I'm saving the way to find that to save everyone.
All right, guys, that's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Someone choose to sit, someone choose to move, and we'll just go around the room this way. So, Lena, you'll come over here. Nick, are you moving? So Nick goes that way. Courtney comes over here. Here we go. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Finding a little bit more about yourself and others. Try not to say, I don't have an answer. Try to dig a little deeper for your answers. Okay, go ahead.
Probably my mom. But I know I don't have a secret much about how I will die, but I would just die.
Yeah, part of my parents just be like,
And I also have like
support of
thought about
everyone and like my brother.
being buried a lot. It's so scary. Or swallowed by like a whale or something. There's gotta be so much. You know, I know what you mean. So like you'd still be alive. We like hit by a car. We wouldn't want to last being swallowed by a whale. Oh, okay. I thought they were like either like they would go they like swallow
What if anything is too serious to joke about?
Maybe if I wanted to go, I get emotional when it's like,
Okay.
I cry by myself a lot, but it's either because I'm like I will like read something and it's really sad, or like I'll watch a Sandy Marshall and just like. Okay, do you have a next question?
Final.
What is like your greatest
How close and warm is your family? Do you feel the childhood and happy with most of the people?
I guess my family, like, because my friends are divorced, so like my dad and his girlfriend and his kids, and then like the greatest. My dad and my siblings, like my mom, my siblings, we're always super close to each other, and I feel like it's really cool.
Fights and like my parents still together and all that, and I only have one brother. Love each other.
Very close. Maybe like that's not.
Yeah, more abstract, you know, but you know, we never really thought that.
Go ahead and switch again, guys. Three, 2, 1. Go.
Okay, do you have a question first, or do you want me to go first?
Alright. Anything that's too serious to regret about?
Oh, what is your most
What would
treasured
constitute a
memory?
perfect day?
I guess, I don't know. Most treasured memory. I have like a lot of memories.
Like, probably be able to learn
Like lots of
faster.
good ones from my siblings.
Like, you know, like learning faster, or even
Just
like,
like
you know, sort of having memory too.
nice time a lot of vacations are good treasured memories too. Like I fought with my siblings, but in the end, like it's still kind of treasure though. Like when I like we were best friends and I tried to like
What do you value most?
No, I'm the middle. Well, I guess I'm like the third. There's 4 of us.
I always want to know where I feel like the working future.
I think I feel most grateful for my mom. She does so much for me. And she's like been a really positive influence in my life. I'm probably that I was born like here in America, like right, and that I was like that I
Probably, you know,
didn't have my
receive
money,
like
stuff
stuff
like
like
I'm not
more,
that first time like because my family's supposed to travel in Africa, and
good job.
his name is Nectar, and she wrote back to us and said that his schools are closed because of COVID and they don't have any hope of reopening. Yeah, so that really made me glad I live here in America where I really pray. Okay, if I do that, maybe you're not you pay about the way you're living.
Of all the people in your family, who's best? What types of you think be more disgusting?
It's right. Yeah. That's a lot. Like a lot of people are thankful for. But like some people wouldn't be thankful for. Right.
It's all the walnuts on your side.
Every day.
All right, guys. You're going to have to probably both get up and move. I want you one more time. This is going to be the last time. I need you just to find anyone in the room that you haven't sat with. Sit. Well, because we are not. Yeah, you're going to have to shift a bit. So someone you have not talked to at all yet. Okay, great. This is your last time. Here you go. 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
When's the last time you cried from?
Last time I tried to find someone's life,
I said
19 years ago.
yeah.
Like I told my parents, like,
I probably have. Yeah, I know I've joked about it before, but the one I think about it, that's
Given
not a
the
good thing
choice
to
of
talk
anything
about.
in the world, who would you want as a dinner?
Something not good, but it's just like, And it was so dry. Yeah, I agree with that. That's how I would answer it too.
Would like to be famous in one way.
Oh, that's true. That's what I'm trying to do too. Like, if you can't talk about anything, then
Huge face like it.
that's a good point.
I think it'd be famous as long as you know
For like
you're,
3 days.
yeah, as long as you're training for the whole week. So I just want to do the basic.
Alright, do you have a secret mention about it?
With that, side car crash.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like I had this question
Not being a good driver.
and she said, well, I said that I would tell my dad because like our relationship's kind of like strained, so I feel like I was telling him
There's like levels. But some people do service or some people do If your house is on fire, what would you say?
I don't know. I
Save
just
everyone else and all your
feel
house and all
like,
that.
you hurt me in this way. Did you try to fix it in the future? So they don't feel so bad.
Prize possession.
Let's see.
All the way to
And that's it. Go ahead and go back to your normal spots. If you are back to the overhead, feel free to turn like you can turn your desk. Just using that for our demonstration when we were actually using it for Speed Friends. All right, guys. Your next task, can you take out your packets? We're just going to use it for a form of writing. So if you have your packets handy, turn to the back side of where it says Model of Bystander Intervention. There's a blank sheet of paper there. We're going to use that for just some writing. I want you now at this time, and nobody is going to collect these, guys. Nobody's even going to look at them. I want you to think about the one person that you spent some time with. So you each were with 4 people. Pick 2 people that you spoke with that made the biggest impression on you today. What did you find most charming about these people you talked to today? So just for a second, you don't need to write the names down. Just think about the 4 people you spoke to. And pick 2 of the most charming individuals. Don't write their names down. And what I want you to do is I want you to rank on the list that I have here on the board, what was their most charming trait? Was it their personality? Was it their looks? Was it their confidence? Body language? Eye contact? Was it they were smart, funny, or just they're charming because you've been around them for so many years, for so long, through all your schooling? Okay, so you're going to have 2 answers. They might be the same answer, but pick 2 people and what was the trait that was so charming about them. And I'd like you to write that down. All right. Raise your hand if you said personality for either one of them, please. A lot of you. Looks. Don't want to seem vain, do you? I get it. Confidence. Okay, couple. Body language. Nobody with that one. Eye contact. Okay. Smart. Funny. Okay, we had a smart, we had a funny. And then another one would be, I've been around this person for quite some time, been through their schooling, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, great. So we had a wide variety, right? You were looking at their charming personality, or you were looking at how charming they were in 2 minutes and 30 seconds to declare friendships, right? Trying to start on an easier note. Because today our first topic is attraction. And instead of diving in and talking about just what makes us attracted to a mate, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about like what makes us attracted to just a friend. So what did you guys notice about these questions from the set 1 to 2 to 3? They definitely did. They got more insightful, they got more personal, requiring the person to actually give and be a little bit more vulnerable with their answers. It's pretty easy to answer set 1s. They were much more shallow, but that's a good conversation starters. But as you go through it and you're like, whoa, okay. I even heard throughout the course of today so far, ooh, that's a hard one, right? And to do it so quickly. But 2 minutes and 30 seconds to have a conversation, I'm wondering, and don't answer this, did anybody walk away actually learning a little bit about something they didn't know? I did this in one of my classes because we had an odd number, so I sat in, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that about you, and vice versa. We were just creating friendships in a very shallow way, mind you. What if we were actually looking for a mate? Which of these qualities, and I want you to write it down, nobody's going to look at it, which of these qualities would you find something that you find pretty important that you want to look for in a mate at the beginning of your relationship? Okay, at the beginning of the relationship. Now, find a quality that's not on here that you look for as the relationship progresses. So beyond the first date. What is something that you look for when you are dating someone that's not listed up here, that you're thinking, oh, you know, that's kind of an important thing for me? That one is a non-negotiable. I need someone that's this. All right. Everybody got your answers? All right, raise your hand if you said you look for personality right off the bat. That's an important trait. How about looks? Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate wholeheartedly at least a level or a degree of honesty, because I think it's very difficult to be attracted to somebody right off the beginning if you're personally not attracted to their physical state, some way, shape, or form. Not that it can't happen, but it's just much more difficult. How about confidence? You look for that, okay? Body language, sometimes that is it though, you know, because if they're giving you that body language, if they're interested in you too, then you might be like, oh, eye contact. They're looking at you in the eye. Do you know that there are studies that if you look at someone for 4.5 minutes, 4.5 minutes seems like not that long, a lifetime. 4.5 minutes, you stare into each other's eyes. You can blink, though. They've done this with people that have been married for 50 plus years. They've done this with people that just met for the very first time, all the way to dating, right? What comes out at the end? An attraction. An attraction. So if you're ever looking for a mate, you're ever looking to date somebody, get that eye contact going. You would be amazed at what it can do. Did anybody say smart? You're looking for somebody that's smart. You're looking for somebody that's funny. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of humor is kind of important. Or you're looking for somebody that just you've known for a really long time. All right. What can you guys list off some of the traits that you said that are not up here that you would like to see? An honest person. Good. Keep it going.
Caring to others besides you.
Yeah, showing that they have a loving heart to others.
Equal effort, like into the relationship.
Oh, that's a good one. Like equal effort, she said, into the relationship. So you're not the one, so they reciprocate the love that you're giving them. Others? Yep.
Like that they have like their own viewpoints and stuff like that, so that they don't just like you say something like, oh yeah.
That's the first time I have heard that today. And that's very interesting. And what she was saying is that they are more of an individual, that they don't just follow whatever you believe in or say, that they give you their viewpoint too. They have an opinion, right? Because their opinion matters. How about morals, values? Anything like that kind of important? That they have some of the similar common belief systems that you have? Something in common is usually kind of an important thing too. So let's change gears a bit and let's look at the first question on this board. It's in purple. And what it says is 3 reasons people are attracted to each other. Based on your reading and these 2 right here, let's tie that in. I had you open it up to that page in case you wanted to take a couple notes. I don't have really any note sheets or anything for you for this particular learning target. So you can feel free to do that, as we say. So first of all, what's one big reason why people are attracted to one another? The first one, so you should write these down. So there's 3 reasons people are attracted to each other. That's the prompt on the board. It's in purple. I don't even know if you guys can see it, but I'm repeating it for you. 3 reasons why people are attracted to each other. Number 1, proximity. Yeah, proximity is it. That's why I have this video that I would like to share with you. It's really quick. But number 8 was up there for a reason, guys. Right? We tend to be attracted to people that we have been around more often in our life. Again, Anne, if you want to feel like you want to turn just quickly, this is only a minute in length. You probably have heard of Easy A. She gets this card with some music in it. On Friday afternoon, she opens it.
Worst song ever.
And she hates the song. I love Emma Stone. And we've all been there. We've heard a song on a radio station where we hated it when it first came out. Right? So let's just first talk about something that's non-threatening like that. And I can give you one. I don't know if you guys remember the song Work, 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 Work. I hated it. I thought it was the stupidest song in the world. And then the radio station would not frickin' stop playing it. All the time. And then what did I find myself doing? Exactly what she was doing. I'm singing along to it, and I'm catching myself going, I know exactly what's happening here. Mere exposure effect. Proximity, as you said, Brian. Back to the original question. 3 reasons why people are attracted to each other. Proximity. One thing that falls under that is mere exposure effect. What is the mere exposure effect? Exactly as it sounds. The more you're around something or someone, the more you find yourself attracted to the thing. So in this case, it was music, right? But in our case of what we're going to be talking about here in just a second, we're talking more about people. So if you guys can just allow me to have you walk down memory lane for a second. Don't speak of any names, but do you recall anyone in junior high whom you couldn't stand? The person was annoying. The girl was annoying, the guy was annoying, whatever. Immature, whatever. I don't even care why, but we probably all have that person. But here's the key. Today, are you at all friends with that person? Some of you will say no, but some of you will be like, yeah, we hang out. We do things. We kind of have our own friend group that we are all still hanging out with. And some of you might even say, and I have heard this from students in the past, they have now dated the person because they kind of grew to like them. You know, it's like that fly that never leaves and it's just annoying. It's like, get away, get away, get away. And then they stay. And you're like, but they grow on you. So mere exposure effect is number 1. Give me another reason why people are attracted to one another. And it was on that list that I had up there. And many of you raised your hands when you said, this is something that I will be drawn to when I first start dating someone. Number 2 is looks. That's right. So when we talk about why are people attracted to one another, we've got physical attraction. So looks are physical attraction. So when we look at the three words up here, mere exposure effect, passionate love, and companionate love, we're talking passionate love. This is that love that high school student, how many times I can tell you I have seen in the hallways of our building. This is crazy love. This is, I can't stand to be without you. And I have to kiss you and love you and hug you and touch you inappropriately in public. Right? We've all seen it, right? PDA. And you're like, knock it off, stop it. And then they go to class and they can't stop thinking about that person and that's all they do. They're immediately texting them right away. You feel like you're going to die when you're not near that person. And it doesn't matter if you're in high school. That passionate love can be there when you are 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, as long as it's fairly new. And then what tends to happen to the passionate love? Right? Goes down. The increase of the love doesn't go up as far as me wanting to be with that person more and more and more. Can I help you? So this is where you guys, relationships sometimes end because that person in that relationship says, you know, I don't have that passion. They might not use that word, but they use different words. I don't have that passion I had when I first dated you. Well, of course you don't. When you first started dating, it was hot and heavy. And then it kind of goes away a little bit. Not that the desire to be with them physically ever will diminish completely, but that yearning desire tends to decrease. So what do? Divorce, breakups, because we always are looking for that. But that passionate love, the way you had it when you first started dating, isn't going to be there unless you have this baby. Because companionate love is going to drive the passionate love into the long term. Too many relationships end because they don't have the companionate love. Know the difference between the two. Companionate love is the long-term love. It's the endearing love. It's the love that you're with me through all my faults, when I'm crappy in the morning, when I'm the worst person in the world, but you're sticking it out and you're through me, with me throughout all of this. It truly is where you start to establish that relationship with that person and you want to be with them because of their companionship, not just because of the passionate love. So, rolling around versus long endearing love. Hopefully we'll all strive for that companionate love sometime in our life. Mere exposure effect, passionate versus companionate love. Do you guys understand the difference? Okay, then we're going to switch gears and we're going to move on to the previous page where you just took those notes and talk about helping. Altruism. So if you just flip that page over, where it has a lot of writing, I'm going to ask you to do some circling. I'm going to ask you to do highlighting. If you have a highlighter, that's fine, or just anything that you can stand out. Because if I were a student and I was studying off of this page that you guys just directed, I'd be like, oh my God, what do I need to know? Like, this is a lot of writing here. So we'll narrow it down for you a bit here today. And so you guys go into the exam, you know that from 36 to 40 what those terms actually mean. So let's just start with the general term altruism. What does it mean? Anybody want to give us that term? I don't even have that on that green sheet, but you do need to know what altruism means. In fact, Learning Target H actually says, explain altruistic behavior and under what conditions are people more likely to help others. So the first piece, what is altruism? It was in your reading. It's pretty simple. Do we know, or are we just not answering? I never know. Like, you didn't get there? Thanks for telling me. You guys good? You stopped right before there? Not sure? Okay, so altruism is helping others unselfishly. Okay, so it's literally helping other people unselfishly. So that term, when we talk about altruism, I'd like to first ask you a question. Do you think natural disasters bring out altruistic behaviors in people. You shook your head right away, Anne. Explain why.
Well, I read this thing that was like, when hurricanes happen and like natural disasters happen in the U.S., a lot of Americans have like a heroic kind of concept or mindset where they love helping people when they're in need, but they don't help people like every day, like homeless people. They have, like that heroic mindset in their head where like, oh, this person desperately needs my help because of the natural disaster, but if they see like a homeless person, they'll be like iffy about helping them.
I think that is such an interesting concept, that what she said there, if you guys could hear it all, that Americans have a tendency to help others in major natural disasters, but when it comes to helping, especially an individual, where we might see it's their fault, just world hypothesis, remember us talking about that we tend to turn and look the other way more often. What were you going to say, Court?
Well, I had like two thoughts that jumped to my mind, and I kind of forget the first one, but like right after my mom passed away, like right away, so many people were there, like probably 100 at least, and then it just seems to kind of like fade away. But then I don't think that has too much to do with the term.
But it made you think of that.
Yeah. But I forget what.
Well, I do think it has something to relate to, because when people are grieving, you know, people do need help to get through that grieving process for whatever it is. Maybe I need help with work, or I need help with home, or whatever. And as time does go on, we tend to kind of forget that grieving sometimes hasn't gone away, and people have moved on with their life, but you're still kind of stuck in that time frame of that loss. So that's huge. And I think that we see that in natural disasters too, you know, like when the press covers and we see a lot of footage about it, we are like, oh my gosh, that's terrible what happened there, and and we're reaching out to help them. All of a sudden, when the media kind of stops and we don't know of what's going on there, a year ago, 2 years ago, Panama City, Florida got hit pretty hard with a hurricane. And there was hardly any coverage in the news locally here around it. I only knew about it because I have family there. And my cousin was constantly posting pictures about the devastation. And I just felt like, wow, I really needed to, what can I do to help you guys there? I feel, even though it was here in the United States, I felt, oh, how about the coronavirus? Oh, sorry, Court.
Okay, my first thought.
Oh, you came back.
I was thinking like it's hard to determine when helping someone is not selfish, because I kind of go through this. I'm like, am I helping them because it makes me feel good?
Yeah.
And like I just have a hard time accepting that I might actually be being selfless.
Yes. Yeah.
I just think, well, I kind of feel good after I help someone.
I absolutely,
For me,
yeah. I love that you say that, because honestly, that's the criticism of altruism. Can you ever truly help somebody 100% selflessly? And the reason is exactly what Courtney was saying. Sometimes we help people because it makes us feel good inside. The way I look at it, Courtney, is I don't think of those things going into helping people. Like when I'm helping someone, I'm not saying I'm going to do this because I want to feel good about it. I say in my head, I'm going to help that person because it's the right thing to do. Afterward, I might feel pretty good about it, but I don't go into it with that motivation. So that's why I think, that's a big difference in saying, hey, I need to get community service hours for your NHS that many of you might be a part of, so I'm going to check the box and do it. Is that true altruism where you're actually helping selfishly? Probably not, right? Because you're doing it for a motivation of trying to get something out of it. This is what she's talking about. How do you think the coronavirus, do you think it helped altruism in our community? And did you guys see any evidence of it out there?
it made a lot of people better.
Okay, and that did happen, but did anybody see any examples of altruism with the coronavirus in Dubuque area? Because of the coronavirus, I guess I should say. because this pandemic hit our area, did you see people giving unselfishly in any way, shape, or form?
People started giving away food.
Yep. I actually, and what Brian said was they started giving food away. I found myself during that quarantine period, especially at the beginning when we were locked down pretty heavy, going stir crazy like a lot of us. And I started researching like what areas in the community need some help. Like I wanted to do something. And there was an area in Dubuque it's an organization called Project Rooted that I kind of stumbled across. And I started going down every day and volunteering. And we were literally making lunches for anyone in the community that needed them. And it was all based on healthy lunches, which is something that I think is really important. It wasn't crappy food. Anyway, we started with 300 lunches and we ended with almost 1,000 a day. I mean, this was huge, and it was 100% volunteer. So, yes, did I feel good after I did it? Yes, I did. But I also felt like there was a true need where people were not getting fed. And I was just, I've got time. Why not help them? Yeah.
You think that altruism might be like more prominent in women at some point?
100%. Yes. In fact, the factors that increase helping, gender is on there.
Not that guys don't, I'm not saying you guys are like
Mhm.
monsters, but sometimes like women,
Definitely.
they're very essential.
Yes. You know, and I'll just even use myself as an example. When I was going down every day to do the lunches, and my husband was off work too because everybody was shut down, I said, do you want to come help? And at first he's like, it just wasn't his thing to do. And then eventually, I'm like, okay. And eventually he saw me going every day and he would join in. But I don't know. I don't know why our society, I don't think all societies are like that though, that it's a female thing. I think that's definitely more.
I don't even think it's so much like with like volunteer projects like that, but like even when there's like when a man and a woman have a kid, I feel like the woman it's kind of a gender role thing and like a double standard or whatever that's called, but I just think a lot of the times a woman is more drawn to being right there by the child.
Mm-hmm. More the caregiver.
Even
Yeah.
though it doesn't kind of fit them at all, it's
Other than that, she's a female. Elena?
I think it may have more to do with like genetics. Like women are more like attentive and like are socially more aware of like how people are feeling and like emotions and all that stuff. As men are more physically oriented, so they would more like want to help if they got hurt or something.
Are women more in tune to emotions? Definitely, yes. But are also the actual, when we talk about social scripts of what a woman should do, are they existing? Yes. I can see both definitely playing a role in that. Let's talk about this. I want you to make sure you get down what you need. Oh, crud. This is good discussion though. So, factors that influence helping. First of all, I would circle the term bystander intervention, which is just at the very top. So the bystander intervention model, you guys, what happens there is those 4 steps. You have to notice the incident, you have to see that it's an emergency, then you have to take responsibility, and then you have to help them. So that's the bystander intervention model. What factors influence the helping? First of all, how obvious is it an emergency? Is it an obvious emergency, or does it just look like the person, can take care of it themselves? Have you ever seen somebody off to the side of the road that looks like their car has been troubled? I have, many times. Do you deem that as an emergency every time you drive by? Why, Brian?
Because they can just leave the car themselves and get their car towed and stuff.
Okay, so you're thinking they're more responsible, that they can take care of it themselves. If you saw somebody on the side of the road and they were lying down on the ground, now do we see that more as an emergency? I would assume and hope so that all of you would agree with that. Situational ambiguity. Please write down the word social exchange theory, which is number 37. What does that mean? It means you perceive the cost. If the cost to you doesn't outweigh helping someone, you're more likely to help them. So if there's too big of a cost, if I am down the highway, again, the example of somebody being pulled over, and it looks like they might need help, but I don't want, I'm late for work. Let's say I'm late for work and I'm on the highway. What might be my cost if I stop and I help that person? My time, right? So I could say to myself, I can't help them because my cost is going to be too great. Sometimes we say we can't help the person because we're afraid for our safety, right? You're driving across the Julian Dubuque Bridge. You see something very promiscuous going on. Maybe a man's attacking a woman. It's nighttime. You're by yourself. You might be too afraid for your own safety to step in. I'm just making stuff up, but that's perceived cost, otherwise known as social exchange theory. Diffusion of responsibility is number 38. You should know that one. I'd circle that one. We tend to help people that if we are in smaller groups. If we're in a large group, we will diffuse that responsibility to somebody else. We tend to help people that are similar if we're in a good mood and if we are female. We tend to help people attribution of the cause of need. So like, really, how innocent are they? Real quick, I'm going to wrap up. Social norms is number 40, social responsibility norms, circle that one. And then one more is not on there that you need to add, reciprocity norm, 39, that's on the board. I'd add that at the bottom, that's on the test as well. Reciprocity norm means I'm going to help somebody if they help me. So that's the reason. So I need to move this weekend. So I ask Ann. Ann says, yes, she's going to help me, but in the back of her mind, she's thinking, I'm going to help her because she's going to help me move in about a month.
So that's kind of the opposite of altruism.
Exactly. But those are factors of why people choose to help. You guys have a wonderful day. Sorry I kept you an extra minute. We'll see you on Friday.